immersion into the real estate world started at birth. Her family owned a real estate and construction company. Her background began in residential and multifamily, and then transitioned to commercial real estate, creating a well-rounded and unique perspective. She's president of Trademark Properties. I want you to give it up. She was on the TBJ 40 Under 40. Amy Carroll.
Hi. All right, it's on. All right, first I'd like to start by asking you guys to consider what becomes possible when we embrace change. Picture this. I'm in my home office, and here I am about to prep for a meeting. I take a few clicks on my phone. I've adjusted my lighting, my music, my temperature. During the meeting, I look down with a few more clicks. I look at my camera, check on my dog, mute my doorbell, make sure we don't have any disruptions. Meanwhile, the rest of my team is taking the meeting from our office. And they don't have the same ease of comfort that I do to make those same adjustments. You know, the question that this brings me to is, why is technology for the office building so far behind? Why are we still using office phones? Why are we still using faxes? Why is there a human being between us and a temperature adjustment or a light bulb change? One might ask why someone that runs a commercial real estate company is standing up here talking about the shortfalls of an office building. But I see it less of a criticism and more of a call to action to embrace what is possible. Until we're able to bring the technologies of our office building to be superior to those at our home, we're still going to have trouble bringing people back to the office. So if 4 years ago, I were to have said to you, in 2 years, we'll all be working from home in our pajamas, and we'll endure a global pandemic, you'd say, you're a nut. And so I'm going to make a few more predictions, somewhat just as nutty, but I want you to know that these are actually already in play in several markets throughout the world. We're going to start with artificial intelligence. So, artificial intelligence, we can have a virtual concierge service. We can have predictive maintenance. We can have content creation. And probably by now, each of you has used ChatGPT, hopefully. You know, and that's an artificial intelligence basic content creator. And if it allows you to see not only the speed, but the scale that new technologies can be implemented, ChatGPT got to 1 million users in 5 days. It took Facebook 10 months to reach that same milestone. Now machine learning. So it actually, we know this from home. Let's talk about like our Nest thermostats. It predicts your patterns. It predicts your comfort level. And it eliminates that human intervention that you need to achieve that. Virtual reality. I'm not just talking about like a simple virtual tour. That's not new news. But what about a 3D digital twin, where we've created a portfolio or a model of your building that's virtual, and it allows you to work within that model? Drones, another thing that you'll say, okay, we already use drones. Yes, we all use them frequently for aerial photography. But who uses them for advertising, for deliveries, for maintenance, for inspecting your building on the exterior or the roof? Smart parking garages. Well, this one's exciting for me because we've all driven around a parking garage searching for a spot when we're late for a meeting, and it feels like you're never going to find one. Well, a smart parking garage uses occupancy sensors in order to direct you to the vacant space that it wants you to park in. It even turns the light on above it. And I know that's exciting, but what's more exciting is a robotic parking garage. Robotic parking garages actually aren't really parking garages at all. I consider them more like temporary storage for your car. You pull into a lift, there's no walkways, there doesn't need to be space between cars, and they really make sense for more dense urban areas when you don't have room for a full-on parking garage. Your car goes in, does a 180, comes back down, and is delivered to you when you're ready to retrieve it. Self-cleaning restrooms. Too good to be true, right? We all want one of those, of course. Well, it already exists. LA put these in their park systems many years ago. Basically what happens is after X number of uses, in their case 30, the bathroom locks itself, washes itself down, sanitizes, and dries in a 10-minute period, and then reopens for people to use it. I thought that was pretty incredible. Love one of those in my house. And then finally, crowdfunding for commercial real estate portfolios and investments. You know, everybody knows it's been historically difficult to invest in commercial real estate without a ton of capital. Well, these crowdfunding platforms allow you to invest in commercial real estate buildings or portfolios starting at about $5,000. And I really believe that that's going to be a game changer. So these are just a few of the predictions that I have that I believe are going to be contributing to the next wave of technology in commercial real estate. But I thought I'd end with this. A poem written by ChatGPT. Yes, artificial intelligence. I said, help me out here. Write me a poem about the future of commercial real estate, but write it Dr. Seuss style. And let's see if I get it right. Hold on tight and don't be afraid. The future of commercial real estate is being made. With innovation and technology so grand, the possibilities are just at hand. Thank you.
Questions for Amy? Raise your hand. Any questions? Oh, right here.
What's a principal?
A partner.
Okay, thank you. That was my question. I didn't understand it compared. I saw the president.
You come here when you're in trouble.
Oh, and the reward for asking a question tonight, blue light blocking glasses, everybody. So I'm going to go over here.
So you're in the best co-working space in the Triangle. What do you think about the evolving workplace as far as co-working goes? How do all these things kind of come together?
You know, I do think that there absolutely is a place for co-working in commercial real estate, and especially in terms of creating incubator space, because I think that that's incredible, and what's happening here at Frontier and what RTP is doing right now, I think is critical to the success of small businesses and startups in our future.
Other questions? I'm going to go in the center.
So this is somewhat of a political question, and I'm not sure if you're going to be comfortable answering it. But
Can I phone a friend?
How do you think government's going to play a role in this if the commercial industry and real estate begins to deplete and more people are working remotely? And how is the RTP or Raleigh area, do you see any futuristic stuff happening in our area? You mentioned LA and so forth, so I was just curious of, are we in the fix of it?
You know, we absolutely do have some exciting things happening at buildings in our area. We typically, and I myself included, can be a little bit more of a slow adopter when it comes to new technologies. But we have smart buildings, new technologies, things happening all over, especially at campuses, I would say, here in RTP. So I'm going to skip the political question.
Right here.
Let me ask you your opinion on all these things that are very efficient, but what do you find to be almost like subhuman? Like I remember a coworker saying, hey, I never want to be on camera, but what if AI could just make a composite of me so it could just, every time I talk, it's like an avatar talking and having all these other things. And the technology exists today, just wouldn't that be really freaky if we all are kind of like Mark Zuckerberg, metaversing ourselves?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, and it brings a whole new meaning to presenting your best self. Wouldn't that be amazing if it was just your avatar? I feel like so many people could, they could do public speaking. They could do things that they would consider that are outside of their box right now if they had that, what I would call, protection mechanism. I think it's pretty cool.
Okay, we're going to go here and then over there.
So 10 years ago, 90 to 100% work was in person. As you said, 2 years ago, 0% was in person. It was all remote. Pick a number. 5 years from now, what do you think the percentage is going to be?
Okay, that's a great question, because I would say just recently we tipped the 50% mark as in the U.S. in terms of how many people are back to work in the office. So we're at 50 right now. My hope, my dream in 5 years would be closer to 75 to 80% back in the office. And that feels slow, but I do think, as this says, this truly is the evolving workplace.
Last question. Oh, he asked what you wanted to know. Okay, how convenient. Anyone else have a question? Right here.
As far as these office buildings that aren't being fully utilized now because of work from home, what are the corporations doing to address that as far as their on-site facilities?
That's a tough one, because people are in this limbo, people being corporations, of bringing people back in, and some people really do work more efficiently and things are easier in a hybrid work environment. And so there's no clean-cut answer that, yes, let's bring everybody back in 8 to 5. So what employers are really doing is they're trying to figure out ways to bring people in, additional perks that they can do, things that draw you in and keep you there for the full day. Whether that's bringing lunch into the office, creating happy hours, having events for people to really create and collaborate while you're there. So you get that energy and you get that recharge that you need, but you still can go back and do your independent work at home.
Thank you so much, Amy. Great information.
Thank you.